and we can access our great-great-grandmother and we can channel her information because she wasn't locked up because she was crazy. Maybe there's a bit of crazy in there. I don't know. She was locked up because she had a voice. She was psychic as fuck, and no one's ever been allowed to talk about it until now.
Welcome to the Wild and Finally Fucking Free podcast show. This is a space where truth talking gets real, behind the scenes grit of the future humans is laid bare, and we are celebrating and sharing the real raw stories of change agents, neurosparkly people, the witchy wild women, the deep feelers, the unapologetic sensors, the status quo challengers, and the huge-hearted healers and helpers. And guiding you through this wild ride of entrepreneurship and full heart-led contribution to the world is me, your host, Kylie Patchett, aka KP. I am a proudly neurosparkly, natural-born status quo challenger, and I thrive on helping disruptors, rebels, and revolutionaries find their voices, amplify their message into the world, and harness their raw potential, alchemize it into unleashing your full potency. Not only will I be sharing the behind the scenes of some of the most amazing, most status quo challenging thought leaders, I'll also be lifting the veil behind my own business. In 2024, I 18x'd my monthly income. Still blows my mind to say that. And this year I am leaning into how joyful and fun it would be to shift from 6 figures to 7 figures in a quantum shifting year. All through leading from my full unapologetic voice, my unleashed potency, and with my big, wildly lit up heart leading the way every single step of the way. So together with my guests, I am going to be sharing the mess and the magic, spilling the tea on the identity shifts behind stepping into thought leadership, breaking the ties that bind us, unlearning old patterns, and reweaving brand new ways of living, loving, learning, and leading. We're here to break boundaries, reimagine what's possible, all while collapsing timelines and leading with joy, love, and our fiercest wild woman selves. This is not just a podcast. It is a rebellion. It is a revolution. It is an invitation to join the Mad Hatters collective movement. And by Mad Hatters, I mean all the colourful, creative, gorgeous, world-changing, out-of-the-box humans out there. If you've ever longed to be wild and finally fucking free, this is your sign to lean in. Let's get started. Welcome to another podcast episode. I have the beautiful Victoria Bond in the house. How are you?
Hi, Kylie. Hello, everyone.
I'm so excited for this juicy conversation. We have only just met each other. I feel like we've known each other for like decades because I'm like totally
Legit.
my type of people. So welcome. For those who don't already know you, could you share a bit about yourself and your work in the world?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Victoria Bond. I've got 2 lilies. I've got an 11-year-old and a 9-year-old, actually not that little, I suppose. And a long story short is I was brought up Catholic. And I woke up really intensely when I was pregnant with my son. His name is Christian. So very ironic there.
Yes.
Woke up when I was like pregnant. And what I mean by waking up is my spiritual gifts were activated extremely. I come from a long line of mediums, which it was hidden. The gift was hidden because, of course, we were brought up Catholic. And when he was born, and for the first year or 2 of his life, I started exploring really why the heck I'm here on this planet, and I revoked my religion, and now I'm a mediumship teacher. So that's the real short, part of it. And, I went from being a hairdresser, so having a trade as a hairdresser, which I loved, and my husband being an electrical engineer, and having a life which was really hustle and horrible in some ways, beautiful in others, but it wasn't for me. And basically, we decided to change our life completely. And now we work for ourselves. We make multiple 6 figures doing what we love. We are better parents. We're in love. We've been together since we were 17. I'm now nearly 42. And actually, I was 16. I lie. Just turned 16. And we are just creating a ripple effect of change in the world and with doing what we love. So That is the short of the long.
I love this for so many reasons. We were talking a couple of weeks ago and I was like, oh my God, your lifestyle and the fact that you live so close to the beach and like, I might want to be you when I grow up, even though I'm older than you. But before we even get to that huge change, please let us know. In fact, I want to ask, have you heard other people being like having their awakening during pregnancy? Is that something that's kind of a pattern as well?
1,000%. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I
interesting.
didn't know this at the time because I had been living under a rock and praying on my knees for God to help me, which I still believe in many different aspects, but I don't believe in this patriarch system, of course, like many of us who are waking up within our energetics. But I believe that having a baby, being pregnant, it's a creation, and we birth not just children, but we birth our creations. And, of course, this is going to happen within the feminine because every fetus starts off as a female.
Yep.
The
Yeah.
universe it's a feminine energy. And of course, that goes on to all of our ancestral shadows and whatnot that comes through us. So people wake up when they have kids, and I work with a lot of mums, and I actually started a thing called Mum's Time to Shine back in the olden days. About many years ago when my kids were little, because I was like, if I'm struggling with this, if I'm going through this awakening, which I thought was actually a breakdown, and I was going to the doctors asking for help because I was depressed. And then other mums, like, I'm educated, I went to a school. I live in New Zealand, so I've had it pretty good. I've had parents that, put dinner on the table. If I'm struggling and I've got 4 younger siblings, then everybody else must be struggling. So I got really passionate about making a difference in the world because I thought having a baby is the ultimate awakening, because these children are our guides. Like, I've got 2 manifest generator children. One of them is she's a fairy. She's a freaking fairy. I'm into like archetypes because I can see galactic lineages and soul streams and stuff. And the other one, he was definitely like my king or my master. He's my baby that was born Christian. Yep. He came in and he woke me up so intensely that I thought I might die. It was an ego death that I went through. And I believe that we have a choice. A portal is opened when we're giving birth. I had beautiful births. I really enjoyed giving birth. It was a beautiful experience. And it really gave me confidence in myself to actually be able to birth. I prepared myself like a marathon to have a baby with my breath work. This is with my lungs, with my thing, with my perineum stretching. But I knew it was going to be hard. And I knew if I could do that, I could do anything. And then all of a sudden, this portal opened, and I'm seeing, hearing spirit in so many different ways, and I wanted to help people. So it wasn't an overnight success. It wasn't an overnight. I didn't even like computers or technology, and I was allergic to them. So getting to where I am now and being able to help people going through their awakenings, whether it's because they're pregnant, had a baby, or whether they're just birthing something else, their mission in the world is truly an honor. So in short, yes, I do believe.
I love this. And I feel like I want to even go back to like almost, I don't know, this is like the scientist in me, like the definition of awakening, because I've heard like there's so many, well, no, this is my perception. I've heard so many people saying, when I went through my awakening, and as I get to know these people, I'm like, these things feel to me at least like they are different experiences. And so I wonder is it simple enough for me to say, because I feel like I'm very slow on the uptake with this. I feel like I'm in the middle of an awakening from probably around about 3 months ago, where I just started to be like, oh, like an entirely different way of seeing the world and myself and perceiving timelines and the way that we're all connected and different lifetimes and all of those things. And I just feel like I've spent a good many decades in the left part of my brain being very, organized and logical and scientific and all of that stuff. And then all of a sudden it's like this door is open. And I do think for me, it's an age thing. Like I feel like I'm I don't know, like some sort of door has opened in this last, like I was saying to you, like unfuckwithable. We are in the unfuckwithable decade. But how would you define awakening? Because for someone who's listening and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Have I awakened? Like, how would you know if you have undergone this? It's a long story, long question.
Yeah, no, I get it, because I really don't like putting anything into containers, and the human language is extremely limited. So although I call myself Awaken with Victoria Bond, what does that actually mean? So I don't think we just have one awakening. So when I explain, I had this big awakening, basically I had a shake up to wake up to a part of my consciousness that I had not been able to access up until that stage. So maybe a portal had opened. It did, because my son came streaming down from the cosmos as this crystal child to challenge me in every way, but also to teach me, obviously, that our kids do that because they're souls here to guide us. They are guides. And but there's many. Like, I feel like every month I have an awakening when I go through my summer season, like I'm in now. I'm like, oh, I'm on day 11 of my bleeding. Time to awaken, because before I was in my winter and I was downloading. So we have awakenings every month, every year, every age, you know, but sometimes there's a profound awakening where there's no point of return. The blue pill or the red pill. And that's what I call the major Big Bang awakening. And for me, I had to decide, do I live this path where mum and dad, generator and Manny Gen, Taurus, so they're very, very grounded. They had expectations of me to be a good daughter. They didn't have big expectations of me to be like really well off or successful or make a difference in the world. They're like, get a trade, because we're not university type of people. Trade, Victoria. Show up early. Like they really installed great values in me. But when I got the house, when I got the husband, when I got the picket fucking fence, the dog, and the 2.5 kids, or whatever they say, I sat there going, oh my God, I can't. And I was 33 years old. So not only was I being woken up from spirit, and my DNA was activating, and my superpowers and my gifts and what I'm here for. And this often happens around 33 years old. And Jesus Christ, apparently it was 33 years old when all this stuff happened to him as well. And I see him as a light worker, you know, as an ascended master. So interesting enough, I realized that I had reached all of the expectations that my parents had had for me. And I really was miserable. And so was my husband. We were both going to the doctors asking for antidepressants. Thank God the doctor didn't. Not that I'm anti-medication, but it was awakening. I had to do it myself. So that was a big awakening. It's usually the quantum crumble, as a lot of people say. For me, it was a complete rupture. And I had to make a decision. And I sat there and I said, Victoria, are you going to live? Because these children, the best thing I could do for them is be real, and I didn't want to fucking fake it anymore, because I was faking on energy. I was like copying up and winding down with wine, you know, and I was just like, I can't. I have so much depth in me, and I love talking about spirit and stuff, and I was scared shitless. So I feel like it was my major awakening, but I've had many, many awakenings, and I believe that we should not put things into boxes of finite, but we do have limitations with our language. When people go, how many guides do I have? 10. I'm like, or what are my guides' names? Like that. I talk about this a lot on my YouTube channel. I'm like, seriously, like, let's learn things like human design, for instance. Let's learn it and let's throw it out the fucking window. So we don't get stuck into another dogma or like another system, you know? So yeah, it's hard to actually answer that, but I truly believe that there's different levels of conscious awakening and awareness. And I feel like I go through every month, every year, every time my kid has a birthday, kids have a birthday. But that major one, that do take the pill of consciousness. And I had to make a contract with myself right then and there. I will choose to do the right thing, to be the best person I can fucking be.
Hey, gorgeous. We interrupt this gold for a delicious invitation. If your whole body has been whispering more lately, more voice, more truth, more satisfaction, more clients of the soulmate variety, more cash, more you, then this invitation is for you. Potent, my sister mind is officially open. This is my high touch, holy fuck, I'm ready sister mind for rebels in good girl clothing who are done outsourcing their power and diluting their magic to fit into someone else's business formula. If you have been craving a space where your strategy, your voice, and your energy all get to be offered, honored, refined, and amplified, this is it. Inside of Potent, you will get my eyes on your business every single week, copy mentoring, and that is for brand copy and content storytelling that turns your truth into client catnip, energetic recalibration that helps you unhook old learned limitation patterns, keeping you quiet, not being seen, not being heard, real-time, high-touch, one-on-one coaching that actually sees the bigness of your vision, and the kind of sisterhood that does not flinch when you show up in your full, messy, brilliant, phoenix rising from the ashes glory. This isn't surface level support. It's deep, potent, paradigm shifting work that changes who you are as a woman in business and a woman in life. We start in August. Early open access is open right now. For the month of June 2025, inside of this early access open doors period, you will receive juicy bonuses, extended payment plans, and access immediately to my entire library of storytelling gold. You'll find all the juicy details at kyliePatchett.com/potent. And we fill spaces, and there's only 10 of them, and more than likely only 5 by the time you listen to this, because by that time I will have offered them to the existing cohort, the beautiful original OG circle. We do actually take applications on a first come, first served basis. So come and apply, and let's get back to the magic of the episode.
No matter what.
Yeah.
I can lose the love of my life, who I've been codependent on for the first frickin' 10 years because we've been together since we were children.
Yeah.
I could be the perfect mum and pretend that I'm not burning out, or I could be so real and shake up my reality that everyone doubts me, but I don't doubt myself. And if I lose everything, including my husband and my house and the respect from the world, I don't give a shit, because if it wasn't real, then I want real. And thank God my husband grew with me, and he is amazing. And my children love watching me. And I live a life by my design as a projector, and my design as a spiritual guide, and no fucks given. And now, but it took a long time to get to that point of, being the people, like being the reformed people pleaser. And I still do have those tendencies. To say that we are completely reformed or healed from everything is bullshit. Of course, we walk with our shadows.
Yep.
So yeah.
Constant. I love so many things that I love here. I feel like what's really resonating with me is that decision of like, even if everything that I believe are the most important things in my life, none of that means anything if it's based on a lie of me not being true to myself. And we were just talking about before we started recording, like shedding, relationships and friendships. It's just like, sometimes you realize that, and I think one of my major lessons of the last, say, 10 years is like all of the ways that I self-abandoned to keep the peace or to people please or whatever. I call myself a recovering good girl, like, recovering, not recovered. And I feel like when you decide to choose something that is not inside the matrix, coming back to the, the red pill and blue pill, like you're actually, it can be very activating for people, because you're saying no to the system that they have been trying to proliferate themselves. And if you choose to be out of the system, then what does that mean about them? I'm interested, when this all started happening, what was your mum and dad's response to, giving up hairdressing, starting an online business? Are they just like, what the actual, like what?
Yeah, I think I love my parents. I am
Mhm.
really grateful, and I've really my dad and I have really smashed out some of the like patterns, alcoholism. My dad doesn't drink
Mhm.
any longer, nor do I, nor do I. There's been a lot of patterns that we've been able to break, but they were talking behind my back. Like, I love my parents, but they were saying, why the hell would she give up hairdressing? Why the hell would she do that? It brings in good money. Yeah, like $30 for a fucking haircut while my kids
Mhm.
are at kindy, and I'm, paying out whatever, and I'm miserable, and I don't see my husband at night. So they couldn't believe it. Like, they didn't talk to me about it. So my family loves ignorance is bliss. So you just don't talk about it, which I find very bizarre because I talk about everything.
Me too.
Like, straight up, we both like to verbally process, and that's why we're friends. Like, that's great, feels great, So my mum really kind of had a resistance because oracle cards and pendulums and tarot, and she loves spirit stories because my nana used to see spirits and say, I just saw someone walk past the door. There's going to be a knock on the door, no one's there, the neighbors died. So we got a
Yeah.
lot of stories. And I'd be like, I went to a medium, and my mum would be like, did they mention me? But which is hilarious because the minute you talk about a reading or oracle cards or pendulums, she'd just shut down. Even yoga, she would go to the extent where if I had crystals or something, she found crystals that I had, and I gave them to my brother, some little chakra crystals, because my brother's 18 years younger than me. And then I found them in some holy water at her house. And I went into the lounge and go, the fuck is this, mum? And she goes, she completely ignored me. And I'm just like, oh my God, because I'm like my dad. I like to just, if you've got a problem, let's talk about, she completely ignored me. She doesn't do confrontation. She's from a family where they didn't ever fight. And I said to her, do you think that I'm doing something wrong? And she said, I don't think what you're doing is good. And so there was a lot of resistance. But what I found, and I'm not putting my parents under the bus because they're amazing people. I just outgrew them from a conscious awareness. From my story, my lineage, my mum got me here, my dad got me here, and now I can honor them by going beyond that. And I hope my kids do the same. But what I found super interesting is the minute I accepted and I dropped my own resistance and my own judgment, I used to be like, fuck my parents for not supporting me. But now, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm making 10K months, I'm making 20K months. I said, Mom, I did a 60K month one day. And she goes, how? What?
Yes, but
With the wages.
Yes.
And she's like, how did you make that money? I said, by talking.
Yeah.
I talk. And she said, who the hell would pay to listen to you talk? That's crazy. Because they don't get coaching and they don't get this industry. They get hard work. And that's what they've taught me. And they're great people. But the minute I accepted myself, recently my mum came over. We live in different towns now. And I walked her through my studio. It's full of crystals. It's full of pictures of Mother Mary as well. It's full of oracle cards. It's full of everything. And there's no resistance. Absolutely none. My sisters are both mediums now. They tuned into their gifts. They've both got jobs just like me. Yeah. They're not online coaches, but they're healers and Reiki and do readings. They're extremely powerful. We've all got our own studios, and we work together, energetically. But the resistance is gone because I do not judge myself. They were perfectly mirroring me. I don't go talking about the money I'm making and stuff like that. Every now and then I'll be like, hey, Dad, look, I got a YouTube channel. I've got like 11,000 people in here. It's like, cool. I'm going to the bush and I'm going to go and like, let them care. And why should they care? Because their baby girl is okay. And at the end of the day, I don't need their validation. So there was a lot of resistance. Even with my sisters, I'm not going to lie. Because I go first, being the oldest. I was talking about star seeds, and I had found this interesting stuff about star seeds and chakras and entities. I was like waking up going, what the fuck? I'm learning all this information. And they were like, don't get too weird, Victoria. And now what are we doing? Having cacao ceremonies, doing light language together. So we all wake up, and it's great. The ripple effect of change is real.
Yeah.
But when we're resisting, others will judge, because simply I was judging myself.
Correct.
Straight up. I was the one making myself the black sheep when I never ever was. If I accepted myself and I was like, yeah, I'm doing this thing and you can believe what you want to believe and I'll believe what I want to believe and I love you.
I love this.
So I just came back to being Victoria Bond, like me, and being a daughter and being a sister, rather than going, I learned some things, and, you know, like the ego had to drop. So I really do think everything's a mirror.
Yeah.
So the reaction
I
wasn't great.
totally agree. When you're seeking that, outside love and approval, you're just, when you're not resourcing from yourself, then you're definitely, opening the door to all sorts of things that you don't even really want to receive. But I want to come back to, actually, no, sisters. I didn't know you were the oldest. I knew you had multiple siblings, but I didn't know you were the oldest. That's interesting. What would you say about the ripple effect of you actually stepping into, this is who I am, this is my journey? Has that directly impacted, like, do you think, and I know these are hypothetical questions, but do you think your sisters would have become mediums had you not kind of opened the door to being fully yourself and fully
one of them,
out?
yes. The other one,
Yes.
no. One of them, so there's me, and then there's my sister who is just under me. In age, of course, because there's 5 of us. There was 2, and then the baby who came along at like 41 years old. And I'd already moved out of home, so it's like he's like a different kettle of fish. He's our baby. He's only 23 now. But the sister that was just under me, no. Because she was very much like me, indoctrinated into being Catholic. We were grateful our dad isn't Catholic, so we got to always see both perspectives of things.
Yes.
But she wouldn't have. The first time I handed her an oracle deck and said, pull a card, she was like, I'm freaking out. Like, I'm going to go to hell. Like, it was legit. But the other sister, my younger sister, who is 7 years younger than me, and she's a projector. She's a 2/4 splenic projector, so we're very similar in our designs, and we're like 2 peas in a pod, literally. But she's got dark hair, and she's kind of like really wise because she's a 2/4. So I'm a ripshit and bust, and she's wise, but we've got the same projector energy. I learn a lot from her. So yes, 1,000%. Maybe not so much the mediumship, but I think she would have definitely followed this path because she channels the goddess codes and she brings in femininity. She works with bleeds and cycles. So, and she's not verbal. Where me and my other sister, we're very verbal. So one sister does mediumship where she's just channeling in. I took her through a crash course of my Magnificent Mediumship Certification. I'm like, bang, bang, bang. She's a 3/5. Tell her anything, she'll fly. And then she just flew. And probably every 2 years, she goes, hey, Vic, do you mind sitting down and just giving me a little mini session? And I sit down. I go, hit me with any questions. I go, bang, 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 bang. She flies. And she's making a business, and she's never even done a live. Like, seriously. It's crazy. But the other sister, 1,000%. But my brothers as well. I feel like because we love human design and we understand with our children and all that type of stuff, we just have so much flow within our siblings. We understand each other. We don't make each other wrong, where we used to make each other wrong. Like, it was like, this is the way. So it's massive. And I think because my sisters have joined the party, now we really get to be a voice for, and I'm just putting this in because it's kind of interesting. We get to be a voice for my great-great-grandmother who was locked up from a very young age. She had her children. She got put into a mental institute in Switzerland, and she's been really coming through to all of us for us to share her voice because it was shut down. My great-grandmother moved to New Zealand, and it was like, go give it up to God, no matter what. And everything was put under the rug, and we can access our great-great-grandmother and we can channel her information because she wasn't locked up because she was crazy. Maybe there's a bit of crazy in there. I don't know. She was locked up because she had a voice. She was psychic as fuck, and no one's ever been allowed to talk about it until now. Too powerful. And that was 100 years ago. And I'm telling you now, the way they treated women throughout the world, and I don't want to get into the witch wound, but let's just say, like, that you're shut down, and now we won't. And we've all got beautiful husbands that support us. So I think we all create ripples for each other, but 1,000%, I don't think Amanda would have gone into mediumship if I was still indoctrinated into Catholicism.
How does it feel now? Like, do you still hold parts of the Catholicism close, but it's not through that patriarchal lens of like, you're going to go to hell if you don't do this, et cetera, et cetera? Or does it feel like, I don't know, the two halves emerge? Like, how does it feel to have been raised Catholic, but now, practicing and being a successful medium? It's like, how do you hold both of those things?
That's so interesting. I love this question so much because I went through a dark night of the soul when it came to religion. I'm still a bit fucked off with the Catholic way of shutting women down because, let's face it, it was that. And, what they did to Mary Magdalene and taking scripts out of the Bible, like, and making it this patriarch. Obviously, we're still rectifying ourselves from that. But I was so angry and mad, and I felt like I'd been lied to. And I'm a really loyal person. So when I feel like, and I wasn't angry. I've sat at the table with deacons, priests, and bishops. I literally lived with a deacon who was one of my mentors. He was my hairdressing boss. He married us. I loved them. So I've sat and had wines with bishops and priests, and they're amazing, amazing people, and so are nuns, and so people that go to church. It's not the people, it's the system. And the blindness, when you wake up, you see everything and you're like Neo in the Matrix and go, what did I do? No. And I'm saying to my husband, how the hell did you let me we got the kids baptized and we got married in the Catholic Church. And all while I'm drinking myself to death, smoking myself to death. Why did how did you sit by? And he goes, babe, because he's very conscious, and he just said, I'm just going to let you be you. I love you for who you are, and your belief has got nothing to do with that. So I've come back around. Okay, so now I can say the word God. I realized very early on into my spiritual journey that there is, how do I say this? There's indoctrination in both spiritual groups and religious. And because I could see that, because I just came from it, and there's a culty. I actually kind of landed in a cult for a very short amount of time. I didn't even know I was in a cult.
Oh, goodness.
You don't know you're in cults because they bring you in as a modality, and then it's not until you got the ranks. And I'm not one of those rank people, like we've talked. I don't give a fuck about being, I like to slay in my own lane. But when I saw that it was a cult, I went, oh my God, that's hilarious. I thought it was a modality. So the cults and religion and spirituality, they're as indoctrination, and it's a follow the leader mentality. And I noticed that with the spiritual work as well. So I was very discerning with everything, but coming back around, I realized that, Jesus was a man. It's been proven. It's been proven through documentaries of non-Christians going, I'm not biased, but it's proof that he existed, but I don't see it in the lens of religion. Mary Magdalene revealed that book, like, blew my mind. It gave me all the answers that I'd been asking for, and I cried and cried and cried the whole time I was reading it. I have seen Mother Mary. I see Ascended Masters. I see and I talk to them. So I literally just said, I'm dropping all belief systems completely. Show me the way. And it was like a 7-year journey of waking up into what is the truth and what happens after death. And my husband used to say he didn't believe in heaven and hell. I was like, what is wrong with you? And now I'm like, oh my God, I see how it works because I talk to spirit, because I'm a medium. I talk to them and they tell me. I know how suicide works. I know how abortion works. I have people that come to me and I can ease their souls and say, hey, look, man, you're okay. You're okay. So I do say the word God now. I do have Virgin Mary and Jesus on my wall. I've got a religious tattoo that I got when I was 23, which still resonates. But I was angry for a long time. And then I realized I get to make my church in a way I want to make my church, which means I can take a lot of the teachings and filter through the lies.
Yeah.
but I do not resonate with any religion at this stage of my life.
Yes.
I literally redeemed. I was just like, not that that's not redeemed. It's not redeemed. Rectified. No, a word like that. Withdrew myself from any religious and aspects, and I don't even call myself a Christian. So straight up, I'm just me having experience.
Interesting. I'm so glad you brought this to the table about the indoctrination in spiritual circles as well, because I feel like it's just more of the same thing. Here's a box. Here's the right way of doing things. Everyone must fit inside the box. And as we've talked about multiple times, as 3/5s who like to find boxes and break the fuck out of them, that we are never, ever going to become ourselves or come home to ourselves if we're trying to do things in a way that has a set amount of rules or any rules, because by definition, they may or may not be aligned to who we're meant to be being in this lifetime. So I love that. And I also love what you're saying about your family understanding human design and different ways of being in the world, because I feel like all of that judgment and making each other wrong because you're not doing it our way or not living, according to our value systems causes so much pain and rupture and so much turbulence that's completely unnecessary. So I really want to talk about mediumship, and I also, let's talk about mediumship first, and then I want to come back to the human design in terms of how that changes the way that you do business, particularly doing what you're doing. So when you first started your business, were you teaching people mediumship, or were you actually being a medium? Like what's the kind of business trajectory, for want of a better word?
Yeah. No, I only found human design about 4 years ago. And so I was well and truly already doing coaching and creating programs. So I started off basically with group programs. It's quite interesting when I went through this kind of awakening, and I did my first card reading, or my reading, and I realized, because I knew that I was a medium and the reading was so accurate that I was like, oh my fucking God, that what I saw in my head was real. Oh shit, I'm going to have to bring this to the world, because as a 3/5, I learn, I do it, and I share. I share everything. I hold nothing back ever. I don't believe in mystery. So,
somewhere else, people do not go near 3/5 if you want mystery.
Yeah, you're going to get it straight up. And I don't believe in fluff. So let's just get into it,
Yeah.
But I started, I wanted to share. So I went to a couple of spiritual fairs, which I was shaking in my boots, because I still had been taught to stay away from crystal shops and stuff. So I'm shaking. I'm giving out goodie bags at the spiritual fair, a little tiny one. I lived in a village, so it was a little hall, and everyone's coming. I was like, hi, would you like a goodie bag? And they're looking at me weird, because you don't do that at spiritual fairs, but I did. I was giving them crystal packs, and I was like, hello, welcome. My name is Troy. Here's a voucher, and here's the gift bag. And they're like, okay, cool. And then I was like, alrighty, okay, I need to teach. So what I did was, everything I was learning through my coach about human code of behavior, and life coaching models, she would share with me all these life coaching models. And I created a 4-week in-person, not a program, but kind of these little seminars. And I had a whiteboard, and I had printouts for them. It was $100 to come. And I was like, I'm going to tell you everything I know. And I love standing in front of a stage. I honestly, 3/5s, we make great actresses, because I just love sharing. And I taught them everything, and I realized that there was about 25 people, and they were just locals from my little village, and half crying. I was taking them through all these life models, and I'm like, why are they crying? Oh my God, I'm actually impacting. And I put a lot of time and energy into it. And at the end of it, I sold my very first group program, which was called Release Your Blocks. And it was a 12-week program, and I did it 3 times, and I started hitting these 10K months. And I was like, oh my God. And I remember just before I hit the 10K months, I must have been doing this 4-week, seminar kind of program thing I was doing in one of the church rooms. I went for a walk with a friend, and I was saying to her, I just know that the money is going to land. I just know that I'm here to do I didn't talk about spirituality. I didn't talk about mediumship. It was all life coaching, and it was all everything I was learning as I was sharing it in my own words. And we went to have a coffee, and I had $4 in my bank account. And, at the same time, my husband's going to KFC and his card's declining. And he's just going, why am I working
Why?
60 hours
Yeah.
a fucking week? Why are we like doing this? And she had to buy me a coffee. And I just said, oh my God, this is never going to happen to me again. The next week, I made like basically 10K. I didn't know what 10K months worth all the coaching world was. I wasn't into any of that because I've been slaying in my own lane, changing nappies and, doing hairdressing. So I didn't do technology or Facebook or anything. And long story short, I sold my relationship blocks for like, I don't know, under $1,000. I got like 25 people into my first round and I thought, I'm onto something here. And then I realized, oh, you can't do that once. If you want to keep making money, you just got to keep innovating. So I baited it 3 times and I saw that lives were really, really changing because they had like, messenger access to me. And I gave my heart and my soul. And then I was just like, after having more coaching, because I do love coaching, I've invested like a few hundred thousand into coaching in the last 7 years. And the reflection my coach was giving me was like, the spiritual gifts that you have, this mediumship that you're talking about, honestly, like, what are you doing with that? And I said, no, I can't go in teaching this stuff. No one even knows I'm a medium. I'm whispering to my hairdressing clients because I was still hairdressing as I was trying to,
transition.
And I was like, don't tell anybody, but I can see dead people, don't tell anybody. And I'm looking behind me in case my mum walks in my hair salon. And next thing I'm doing readings to my hairdressing clients and we're talking about spirituality. And I was like, I'm so lit up. And next night I'm falling asleep when I'm doing hair because I just, my body was because I was so consciously aware, my body was listening to me. And when Magnificent Mediumship, my program landed at 4 a.m. in the morning, I woke up like, here it is. I sat down, I wrote it down. I'd had a new coach by now because I'd up-leveled and the old coach became one of my great friends. And she wouldn't take me on anymore because I wanted to start hitting the 50K month. So she's like, okay, we have to be friends. You need to go to the next level. And I channeled it through and I literally we're on the 13th round now. So it's been it's crazy, but I did do a lot of readings. I did do my practice. I have not followed a lot of mediums and I have not gone by any of this indoctrination system on how it works. So everything I bring through from spirit is from spirit. It's not to say I haven't been inspired by coaches. So Lauren Robinson, who's got a book, Medium and Monologues, she really inspired me. And I did one of her programs, like just briefly, but she inspired me because she was so real. And but yeah, it's been a thing. It's been a thing. Human design came along and I realized when I was told that I was a projector, it came along a few years before that, but I looked at it and just went, oh, whatever, that's far too complicated, whatever. And then one day it just landed. You're a projector, look into it. And I just watched a little video about a projector. This is about 4 or 5 years ago. And I went to bed and I bawled my eyes out because I realized that I wasn't fucking broken because I couldn't keep up. I couldn't keep up with the world. And I was like, I'm the strongest, hardest working person I fucking know. I've been working since 12 years old. I worked until I popped out my babies and I had hard babies and because I had to work to pay the mortgage, to get food. Going out for a takeaway coffee was a huge treat. I was brought up with no money. We ate out of the garden, and we went to the beach for fun. So, and we didn't go to the movies or have takeaways or anything. So, it was really, really interesting for me going through so much and really just kind of going, holy shit, I get to do this work. So kind of gone on a massive tangent. Don't even know where I'm going.
No.
It's big. This is really big.
Yeah, perfect.
Sorry. I just finished that thread. I'm so sorry. So I cried myself to sleep. I was like, projector, what are we doing now? I cried myself to sleep because I realized I wasn't broken. And then I cried myself to sleep because I said, how the fuck am I going to do this when I can't work like a generator? And then I have committed to my life in the last 4 years of being an aligned projector. And I bring this into everything that I do. I don't believe being indoctrinated in human design. There's a lot of people that are making a lot of noise that are not aligned, and they are preaching human design, and they're not aligned because I can see it. But being truly aligned means going into this experiment and experience. And I use all my coaching through the filter of human design so I can talk to people at where they're at, even in mediumship, because it makes their mediumship so much better. So that's the story about human design and the ascension.
I love the fact that, because my path with discovering human design was quite similar in that it popped up in my field and I was like, it wasn't taking my fancy. It's only probably been about maybe 3 or 4 years. But that, like, all I keep thinking is like a permission slip. Like I was saying to you, like, I just believe there was something wrong with me because I couldn't stick at something. And then I'm like, oh no, 3-5 is meant to be snacking on life. Like, we're not actually meant to be, I have friends that are still in the same career 20 years later. And I just think about that and I'm like, oh my God, I feel physically sick. But I love that. I love that you're also saying, like, human design. I see so many people going, oh, but I can't do that because I'm blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, see, now we've gone too far. Like, informing and understanding yourself through that lens is one thing, but saying, oh no, I can't do it that way because blah, 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 without actually trying to emphasize, that's another limit. I was saying to you before we started recording, I feel like as a generator, that's a disadvantage in so many ways in terms of I have almost unlimited energy, which actually means that I can be really undiscerning, if that's a word, in what I'm doing. And I feel like as much as, I have heard projectors say before, like, I just can't keep up and feeling like that's a problem. But I'm actually going, if I could literally physically only work 3 hours a day or 5 hours, whatever it is, I would have to be much better at actually doing the things that make a difference. So can you tell me, how has that impacted the way that you run your business? Because I imagine that you've seen other business models and you just go, there's no way. Like, I just
no way.
not. Yeah.
It's massively impacted my whole entire business because my husband, which is something I left out of the story, he works, he's my other half in the business.
Yeah.
He works probably 8 hours a day often, and he doesn't like being dragged down to the beach or to have a nap. He's like, go away, I'm working, like he's in it. But for me, it's changed not only my business, but my entire relationship, because I used to put everyone into boxes, including myself. But I think coaching through the lens of being of human design is powerful because I can look at your chart. One of the first things I said to you was, hey, Kylie, do you mind sending me through your chart? Because if we're going to be friends or collaborate with each other, I need to know how to talk to you. So with an emotional being, so their authority is emotional, solar plexus, I will never push them for answers. I'm not going to do it because it's mean. It's like pushing my daughter. Yeah, it's disrespectful. My daughter, I have to be gentle and soft, and she's a mani gen, so she's quick, but I will not push her to make a decision. She will always be able to sleep on it, and I will always give her the grace of patience. My son, my husband goes, why don't you let him sleep? And I go, I don't need to. Hey, CJ, you want to do this? Yes or no? So I do this with my clients as well. I'm like, hey, in mediumship, I'm like, okay, Kylie, what's coming through for you now? Oh, no, stop. What was the first thing?
Yeah, what's the first thing? I know.
Rest on. So, like, you're faster than this. Come on. And what I do is I train people in a way, in an essence, to find themselves. And how are you going to find yourself in mediumship if you don't know yourself? And my biggest motto is to know spirit is to know self. So I help people find themselves, not be a mini Victoria. I don't want fucking mini Victorias. I've already got me. I don't need another me. And people will try us on for size as coaches, and that's great. Like, go for it. I've done it many times with my coaches, of course. I go and have a taste, like you say, and then I go, wrong pants, let go. Exactly. Take a golden nugget and off we go. But I've just started, like I say, Magnificent Mediumship 13, and the first thing I do is I send them all a personalized human design reading. Now, I used to outsource this, but now I'm like, no, because I need to connect in with that person. So I know how to, rather than quickly looking at their chart, I'm going in and I'm channeling the human design reading. So I don't care about the channels and the gates. They're great. Don't get me wrong. But until you have mastered your aura and how
Yeah,
your
the
aura
basics.
works, your centers, like I'm what freaking, and I got no mind. It's like, it means I'm an empath, I'm telepathic. I can literally talk about anything.
Yeah, chameleon.
Yeah, I'm a chameleon, and
Yeah.
I'm scared as shit. I have got a defined spleen. I'm splenic. So
Yeah.
I know today, after this interview, I'm packing up. I'm going like across the country. That was a splenic hit this morning. Now, if my daughter or a client was like, I'm going to do this, I'm jumping and say, hey, before you sign that contract, why don't you sleep on it and get back to me tomorrow, babe? I just want to make sure that you're not, that you're regulated. And I would do that before I would take the sale.
Yeah.
So I feel like it brings an authenticity. I bring them in, I help them learn it. I pre-frame if they've got a one line, not to go down the rabbit hole until it is the correct time and space for them to do so. Mediumship is my jam, and I will show you how you can read. But a lot of people want to resist tapping into their gifts, so they will go into another system. So I say, don't get into that system. But I'm telling you how this can work for you. So I don't even look into my gates and channels. I look into my centers. I look into the arrows, which they call the variables, because I think they're really important, and how we function and how we digest life and how we manifest. Are you a specific manifester or are you more elusive? That's a big difference. If I tell someone, go write down a list, and this is the self-help books, right? Go down and write a list of all the things that you want to manifest. My sister Rachel will go, it doesn't resonate with me. I can't do that. Where I'm like, hey, I'll write a list.
Yeah.
And I'll get everything on that list. Don't specific. Yeah. So everyone is so vastly different that human design gives you some key codes. And this also helps you to quantum leap with your very own spiritual gifts.
Like
and
a blueprint,
it's amazing.
right? Like
it's a blueprint, but it shouldn't be. And Ra never wanted people to get indoctrinated into it. He actually said, this is a system that is to get you out of the system.
Yeah.
And he was a manifester, so I see people getting into the system and they see them getting stuck in the system, and then I can look at them straight away and tell you that they're not aligned. Because I've got a foresight. I'm very telepathic. But that's what I can tell straight away when I look at someone. You're telepathic, you're empathic. This is how you function. This is your waves. And hey, how would it feel to live your life in a particular way, to tweak this? I don't believe we can lead or be teachers or mentors unless we are mastering our own energetics. And that's what human design brings.
Amen. Oh my goodness. Can we say it louder for the people?
Because I'm like, if you alignment, how dare you think that you could?
Yes. I want to move into mediumship in terms of when people come to you, like to the majority of people that come to doing MM with you, do they already experience mediumship? Do they know that they're mediums? Like where's the kind of I guess the entry point? Because I'm interested for people that are listening and they're like, I've never thought of myself as a medium, but I can do this or I can whatever. What are some of the signposts of a gift that's there, that's kind of in its raw, unrefined, kind of dived into territory?
It's a very wishy-washy, Chris. I get it. I totally get it. So most people do not think that they are mediums.
Yes.
I mean, I didn't think I was a medium. And it wasn't until I went to a medium who said, I was like, who do I think I am? Getting a healing clinic off my hair salon. And I don't even know if I'm a medium. And he said, who do you think you're not to? Right.
Yes.
So it's kind of, and he said, that's your ego. And that just stuck with me. So a lot of people will come to me and they come to me for different reasons. Maybe they lost a loved one. And quite often that can be a question mark of suicide, or they just deeply want to connect in with their loved one. Or so they come to me because they want to learn, they want to grow, and maybe I've felt them around. Some of them are like me, and they just having these, that their ears are popping, right? They're getting a song that is going over an earworm, they call it. That there is spirit.
My brain.
Exactly, like hardcore. They're not being able to sleep at night. It's a classic sign, because spirit doesn't have boundaries because they're in a different time zone. And then, or they're like me, and they were seeing stuff like with dreams and in their mind's eye, and they're thinking that a dead person is kind of coming through to them, and they can feel it because they're attracted to the family, and they feel like there's a message, but they think that, oh my God, who do I think I am? So we always go with, who do I think I am? There's an inkling that there's something there. Obviously, when it comes to coaches, so I've got coaches and school teachers, real estate agents, a lot of psychologists.
That's cool. Interesting.
Yeah, I get a lot of nurses, you know, people in the health industry. They come to me, and I can see their gifts like as clear as day. I can just see beyond the person, beyond this 3D reality. And they come to me because they're pulled. They are pulled towards it. It's not my messaging. It's not anything. It's like, they're like, Victoria Bond, I saw you on YouTube, and what the hell? You're the first person I've been able to listen to. There's something about you and your story of being an ordinary, everyday girl who didn't pass school, who drank too much, who had a bit of a mental breakdown that made me realize maybe I'm going through an awakening.
Yeah.
So
maybe there's nothing
I
wrong.
attract people, but I want to attract the everyday people too. I want to attract the coaches, the practitioners, the healers, to help them monetize their genius, because we've got this broke mentality when it comes to spirituality. You don't see me dressed like a hippie, like who is this crystal ball, please. No, like, yeah, and that's cool, but I'm Victoria Bond. I go hang out with my friends, and we take our kids swimming at the beach, and I'm a school mum, and you know, I don't want to have any mystery, because everyone is a medium. So a lot of people come to me because they hear me say that and go, what? I've been told you've got to have this gift. And this is the secrets that mediums, I always say, like on my podcast, I'm going to tell you the things that people don't tell you. Because, and I've had mediums message to me and go, that's bullshit, Victoria. I can't believe you said that. You've got to be born with a gift. And I'm like, oh shit. We're energetic beings. Energy is our first language. So yeah, I get people that are kind of questioning, and they come in and they wake up profoundly, because we can then open the portals of all of these soul streams. We don't have one soul. We have an oversoul, but there's all these soul streams that come in. Lyra, Lemuria, the Palladian, that like the cosmos comes into it, the cosmos. And we get to channel our higher selves and our past lives. I mean, our past lives aren't us. They're their own entities that stream in through us. And this is all the information that Spirit has told me. And I haven't heard this stuff before. I hear people trying to hold on to stuff so tight. And I'm like, this should be able to be accessed everywhere. So I know I've just gone on a massive rant here, but it's for everyone. Yeah. And I know coaches would say, don't say you're for everyone, because it doesn't work. But at the same time, we're human beings. And if you're interested, who am I to discriminate if what payroll you're in, whether you come into a program and learn your gifts. And if it's not through me, obviously there's plenty of free resources everywhere.
Yeah. I'm interested when people. So how long is MM? I don't actually know this.
It's like 3 months. It could be 12 months. Because I'm very assertive, and I, like you said before about the projector, what can I do? I'm very effective, and but every round is so different, because there's a different soul collective. So we've got the mermaid collective right now. So I know that these guys have all got a soul stream with mermaids. It's really cool. I have to talk to you about archetypes one day. We're learning now. Copy that. Yeah. It's so freaking cool. But so yeah, it's 12 weeks long, but some people will sign up like 3 months in advance. And I like, as soon as someone finds me, I like to hold them with love, and not hold on to them with chains, but with love. And I say, hey, come into my membership first. So one lady who's doing it right now, she wasn't quite ready last time. She was like, it was the day before, and she goes, I'll wait for the January round. And I said, I'll put you in my spiritual membership, where we get together a couple of times a month, and it's really an epic membership. And so she's been with me for 6 months. So I kind of feel like I love to, it may be 12 weeks from the beginning to end, but sometimes it's a 6-month experience. And then people can sometimes their life is, and they come into my mastermind and one-to-one. But the certification itself is 3 months, and that the first 6 weeks is finding yourself deeply as an energetic sovereign being, and then the last 6 weeks is practicing with having a mediumship mentor, which is myself, and I introduced the human design and how to work and play with energy, how to make that your first language, how to call BS, how to take those shades off the conditioning, and there's a lot of energy shifting in what I call processing. So energy clearing statements where we go bang, 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 and light language. And it's a whole fucking thing.
I want to actually ask you, this is just popping into my mind, but as you're saying, we're processing, but it's quick and it's these like clarity of statements. How do you see what has grown into this healing industry? And I'm using air quotes very consciously because I see it's like the same type of thing that we were talking about before. Like there's a right way of doing your processes. Like I think it's a really good thing that we understand more about trauma and how, it can get stuck in the body and all those things. But I also wonder whether we have just made this structure of the right way to come home to yourself. How do you, I don't even know whether I'm making that really clear, but how do you see the healing industry versus how simple it can be if we're accessing through
it is
energetics?
So simple. You don't need a Reiki master. I'm a Reiki master because I have learned about myself at 40 years old that I love structure and I love to back myself and feel confident. It gave me confidence. Now, I'm grateful I did because I love my Reiki master. She's, the mentors that I have are not the ones that I've actually spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on, by the way.
Yeah.
My mentors that I have is like, I go to a retreat once a year and she's my mentor. She's grounded. She doesn't have a huge Instagram, but she holds herself. They're embodied beings.
Yeah.
But, and there's no judgment or structure or authority. So it's just a gift sharing with a gift. So I say to people, I have a lot of practitioners that come and say, I'm making no money, but I've got 28,000 certificates. And when I moved house last time, I threw all my certificates away because I don't need any fucking certificates. I'm a soul. The biggest thing is it's very important to understand that when we bring a structure to something, and I pre-frame this a lot, especially in is to fuck it off if it doesn't resonate. Excuse my language. So I will do an energy clearing statement and I will say, I'd love you to create your own. These are my words, and words have power behind them. We know this.
100%.
Use mine or make your own, which is powerful. Is it prayer? Is it intention? What works for you? So I come in with a structure where they can understand the concept. And then I go, can we just dismantle all of this, transmute, transcend, transform, all points of views, judgments, considerations connected to that? And that's what I'd call an energy clearing system. And then they're like, and I'm like, don't worry. I was just working on your subconscious.
Exactly. Don't worry about it. We've done it.
And just drop everything. And I often say, like Rebecca Campbell, breathe in, breathe out, and let the words just dissipate because your soul is leading. And I love the structure of my Magnificent Mediumship. I've mastered the whole thing. I've adapted. I've grown within it. And I hope it's not the same in another 13 rounds. I hope I've adapted and rolled again. So as soon as someone gets too attached to something, even if it's one of my concepts, I will actually invite them to de-tie themselves, to detach from what I'm saying. And I do the same with myself. The minute I hold on to anything, I'm like, hang on a minute. What if I don't need this? So when it comes to spirituality, that was just from my perspective. When it comes to other people and doing these things, the rules, like protect yourself. The first thing I teach in is protection is bullshit. You don't need to protect yourself. Who are you protecting yourself from? Who are you protecting yourself from? Like on your knees praying to God, but God is the one who's going to deem you to hell, right? Like what? No. It's like God-fearing humans, which is what a lot of people talk about. I'm God-fearing. Well, fuck, I'm not, because God is consciousness itself and constantly gifting to me. I mean, that's my interesting perspective, right? Everyone has their own. But at the end of the day, any system that has control is literally fit into wherever fits you and your structures. My husband always said religion is great for most people because most people haven't evolved to not be crazy people.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't
To
say
not to
those
need
words,
the
by the way.
structure. Yeah.
You need
Yeah,
the
yeah.
structure. I needed the structure. And when I look back into the system I was in, I know the Hail Mary, the Our Father, they're very powerful prayers that literally get rid of demons. I have slayed demons. Like this is something I teach in my program is I go deep because I'm not here for fucking fluff, just talking to dead people.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm here to go deep. So, but I'm not afraid of anything. I'm more afraid of humans and the manipulation and the subconscious that and their wounds than I am spirits. So at the end of the day, I don't believe in any systems, but I believe we are where we're at exactly how we're meant to be. My kids are in the school system. I can pick that apart if I want to, but that's a system that they're in. We can decondition when necessary. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, no, it does. You're speaking my language because I'm even like this morning I had a few new people in what I call like soothe sessions, which is part of a membership that I run. And one of the new ladies is like, oh, I didn't know what to expect. Are we doing a yoga class? I'm like, could maybe give that language, but actually what we're doing is just responding to whatever the needs of the circle are in all sorts of different mind, body, breath, somatic, energetics ways. We don't know what will come up. And yeah, she was saying to me, oh, I don't even know how to explain that. And I'm like, but do you need to? We're so over attached to making sense of things. And I'm like, you could just experience it and enjoy the experience and not need to know what was going on or what was cleared or what was healed or what was whatever, because that is all just a story that we're connecting to. It's just like to be here. But I do understand, like having lived for many years of my life, needing to understand and make sense of in a way that's like, you know, quantifiable and measurable and whatever. And like you said before, like language is so, and this is what I always find when I'm doing like messaging, mentorship and storytelling with people that do work in the more esoteric, nebulous, you know, more woo fields, language is so limited. Like, how do you describe what you offer? And really that's why I love storytelling, because then you can, you know, demonstrate a shift from one side to the other type of thing. But language is so limiting. And when we're trying to make it make sense, I'm like, no, I think we've lost the point. But I also feel like what we're talking about is the opposite of what we're conditioned to believe, which is doing the right thing is the way to be okay. And, you know, air quotes all over that. But anyway.
Okay, so I'm dyslexic that's probably an exaggeration, but you know, I found school very, very hard. And when I'm writing in my diary, my words are always back to front and I miss things. Whatever we call that. I'm definitely neurodiverse. I'm definitely, I've got a lot of autism in my family and I don't want to put myself on, we've talked about this in private, I don't want to put myself into a category because it's my superpower. But the reason, someone told me once, the reason why you find it hard to write, because my brain goes so fast as well. I am like, I knew there was something wrong in the system. It was a glitch in the matrix when I realized I know I'm intelligent. My husband always says he's bright. You know, he got A's at school type of thing, even if he whacked. And I went to school when I didn't get A's. I couldn't focus or function and I wasn't supported at home with doing homework. It was more like, whatever, do your best, you know, not achievers energy. But the point is, someone said to me, the reason why you find it so hard with reading and writing and spelling is because you're so 5D that the words are too slow for you and they're very limiting. Now, of course, I know you've done a lot of copywriting and a lot of epic writing and you channel through words. It's not to say that you are less 5D than me. But my gift is seeing and speaking and not putting people into a certification that is go study your asses off. I would have been a school teacher if I wasn't afraid of the essays or the reading. I would have been that, but I was like, well, I'm creative. I'm a hairdresser and I love people. So it's really interesting how words can be so limiting and so powerful as well. And that's why I love prayer. Coming not from a protection, but from a power place. Prayer and intention setting and words, they have gravity. But again, like if people pick me up on stuff because I'm saying something, I go, thank you very much, but don't dissect me. because I'm a human being. So I used to think we couldn't use the word want. So I used to teach that. Don't use the word want, use the word desire. I'm like, fuck it. I want what I want because I want it. I'm going to create a new meaning around it. So I believe we get to write the script as we go as well. And I love what you say, because you speak in my language as well. As, I keep thinking, how do I have better messaging? How do I tell people what I'm doing? And I get people to pick apart it. And then now I'm just going, oh my fucking God, I just am what I am, and you are what you are. And let's be hot messes, be magnetic and attractive with our superpowers. And if someone doesn't like us, I said people pick my stuff apart. And then I'm like, now I don't have any, because I literally repelled them all. And I'm going,
exactly. Yeah, exactly. I think it's hilarious. Like, I'm a copywriter on the surface, but I can't touch type to save myself. So 100% of the time, my social media and my copy on my website has spelling mistakes, and I just don't give a fuck. It's not because I can't spell. And even if it was, I don't care about that anyway. And I am so allergic at the moment to typing and writing in versus voice noting, like, we voice note all the time, because I'm like, I can feel and hear so much more when I'm speaking to someone and listening to their voice than what I can with the very limited, black and white typing thing. And I'm like, if I could just give up language completely, I would. Like, if there was a way of moving through the world without actually having to use language to try and like describe things that are so
we're getting there.
Nebulous.
We're getting there. That's going to be happening.
Bring it on. I'm sick of typing, which is really fun. Anyway, but I totally agree. Like, the magnetics and the energetics of who you are being is far more important than, exactly how you're actually, messaging. I've deeply enjoyed this chat. Please tell everyone where we can find you. I could ask another 500 questions, but I'm very aware we're over time. So how do we find you and your beautiful self online?
Yeah, cool. So first of all, thank you so much for having me. I love, we both love talking. It's medicine for my soul, especially with like-minded souls. So I hope everyone's enjoyed this and received a few golden nuggets from us. So my whole brand is Awaken with Victoria Bond, and I'm on Instagram. I've got a really cool Facebook community, Awaken with Victoria Bond. Awaken Community with Victoria Bond on Facebook, where people can come in and I do live readings and all sorts of really cool stuff.
To join you.
And I also have a TikTok, which is a good laugh, because that's like, let's get into it. And my YouTube is where you can really get into the deep dive of mediumship, where I've got a lot of free content. So basically, Awaken with Victoria Bond, Google me, and I'm everywhere. Come and say hello. I do have free programs. I believe in giving back to the world. So I do have some free programs and a huge amount of stuff. And of course, if you're interested in going deeper into mediumship, we can have a chat to see if you are fit for going into my program or whatnot.
Thank you for your time and sharing you and I just love how grounded you are. I do often find that when someone is talking about the sort of gifts, it's like a, hierarchical, either you're born with this amazing power or you're not. And I just feel like that is not accessible. So I appreciate you sharing from such a grounded perspective about you and your story and how it's unfolding. And I can't wait to see what happens next.
Thank you so much, Carly. It's been so much fun.
There you go, beautiful one. Another delicious, juicy, truth-talking episode with a disruptor rebel or revolutionary sharing the identity shifts and the mess and the magic of leading right on the edge of your expansion and going first as a visionary leader, as a woman creating a business and inviting people to completely new ways of learning, living, loving, and leading. It is not lost on me that you have invested your time and your energy in listening to the show. I am so grateful for your beautiful heart, for the work that you do in the world. And I know that if you're here, you are more than likely one of what I call the Mad Hatters. So the quirky, colourful, creative, out of the box, often neurosparkly, paradigm shifters and thought leaders. So I'm so grateful that you're here. If you loved this episode, which I'm sure you did, please do me a favor and share it with someone else who needs to understand that their quirkiness and their full unapologetic self-expression is more than enough, and in fact is the secret sauce to growing a wildly successful, abundant, nourishing, sustainable business. So here is to us, the Mad Hatters, the crazy out-of-the-box people saying no to old paradigms and inviting into the new. And if you'd love to go the extra mile, please make sure that you subscribe on the platform that you're on so you never miss an episode. And hey, it would be sweet, sweet, sweet if you would leave us a 5-star review. It means the world to us, and it helps us get this truth talk and this magic and this power out to even more Mad Hatters. So have a beautiful day, and I will speak with you next week.